Try it right now. Run your fingertips slowly along the bottom of your own foot, or drag a finger lightly across your ribs. Do it as gently as you can, with every intention of making yourself laugh. It won't work. And this is one of the strangest facts about the human brain. A stranger doing the exact same movement, with the exact same pressure, at the exact same speed, would make you squirm in seconds. The touch is physically identical. The nerve endings are the same. The skin is the same. But when it's you doing it to yourself, nothing happens. No laughter, no reflex, not even a flinch. For something so simple, so universally true, so easy to verify in the next 10 seconds, the reason is almost impossible to believe. Your brain predicted it would happen, and that prediction canceled the sensation out entirely. The cerebellum is a dense, wrinkled structure at the base of your brain. It's often described as the brain's movement coordinator, the part that helps you walk without falling over and catch things without consciously calculating trajectory. But the cerebellum does something else that almost nobody talks about. It runs a continuous, real-time simulation of your own body. Every time you initiate a movement, any movement, your cerebellum generates a prediction of what that movement will feel like before it happens. What sensory signals will it produce? What will your skin register? What feedback will come back? It doesn't wait to find out. It models the expected outcome in advance, and before that sensory signal even arrives, it cancels it. The predicted sensation is subtracted from the actual sensation, and what's left is nothing, barely a whisper. Researchers call this an efference copy. When your motor cortex sends a command to your hand, move this way, it simultaneously sends a copy of that command to your cerebellum. The cerebellum uses that copy to predict the sensory consequences. Then it suppresses them. This is why you can't tickle yourself. Your cerebellum already knows what your fingers are going to do before they do it. It generates the expected sensation, subtracts it from reality, and the signal disappears before it even reaches your conscious awareness. In the late 1990s, neuroscientist Sarah Jane Blakemore at University College London designed a series of experiments to test this directly. She built a device that could deliver tickling sensations to subjects' palms, either controlled by the subject themselves or by an external operator, or by a time delay ranging from milliseconds to half a second. What she found was precise and consistent. When subjects controlled the tickling themselves, same movement, same force, same location, they rated it as barely noticeable. When someone else controlled it, the rating jumped dramatically. And when a time delay was introduced, even a delay of just 200 milliseconds between the subject's hand movement and the arriving sensation, the ticklishness began to creep back in. The delay disrupted the cerebellum's ability to match its prediction to reality. The prediction arrived, but the sensation arrived slightly after. They didn't cancel out cleanly. The mismatch was enough to register. Blakemore had demonstrated something extraordinary. It wasn't just that self-generated touch feels different. It was that the brain tracks authorship in real time for every sensation before it's experienced. Is this mine? Did I cause this? And if the answer is yes, the signal is suppressed before it can fully surface. But here's what makes this far stranger than a curious fact about tickling. Because the cerebellum's prediction system doesn't stop with touch. Your brain does this with everything. Neuroscientists call it predictive processing. The theory, developed most comprehensively by computational neuroscientist Carl Friston at UCL, proposes that the brain is not a passive receiver of sensory information. It is, at its core, a prediction machine. At every moment, your brain is generating a detailed model of what it expects the world to look like, sound like, and feel like in the next fraction of a second. It sends that model downward through the neural hierarchy, and what flows back up isn't raw sensory data. It's only the difference between what the brain predicted and what actually happened. The errors, the surprises. In other words, almost everything you experience right now, the color of this room, the weight of your own body in your chair, the sound of your own breathing, is not a direct transmission from your senses. It's a prediction. What your senses actually do is correct that prediction when it's wrong. Most of the time, the corrections are tiny, barely anything, and so your experience feels smooth and continuous, like a live feed from the outside world. But it isn't a live feed. It's a forecast, a controlled hallucination your brain generates every second of your waking life and quietly adjusts when reality doesn't match. The evidence for this is everywhere once you know where to look. The rubber hand illusion. You place your real hand out of sight and a fake rubber hand in front of you. A researcher strokes both the fake hand and your hidden real hand simultaneously, with the same rhythm at the same speed. Within minutes, your brain begins to incorporate the rubber hand into its body model. You feel the touch in the fake hand. And when a hammer strikes the rubber hand without warning, your real hand flinches. Your brain predicted that the rubber hand was real because the sensory signals had been consistent enough, long enough. And when the threat arrived, it responded as if the prediction were the truth. Now consider what happens when this system breaks down. There are people whose predictive systems are damaged in a specific way. Patients with certain forms of schizophrenia have disrupted cerebellum signaling. The efference copy system doesn't function normally. As a result, they can sometimes tickle themselves. Their brain does not properly tag self-generated sensations as self-generated. The touch arrives as if from an unknown source, foreign, surprising, real. And researchers believe this same misfiring contributes to something far more severe. When the brain loses the ability to correctly label its own internally generated signals as its own, thoughts that originated inside the person's own mind arrive as external voices, commands from somewhere else. The boundary between self and world is not a wall, it is a prediction. And when the prediction fails, the border disappears. There's one more piece, phantom limb pain. When a limb is amputated, the brain's map of that limb doesn't disappear. It remains active. And without sensory input coming back from the missing limb, the prediction system has nothing to be corrected by. The brain keeps generating expectations of sensations that will never arrive. In many patients, this produces excruciating pain, not because anything is physically wrong, but because the brain's model of the body is still running in a part of the body that no longer exists. Neurologist V.S. Ramachandran addressed this with something called a mirror box, a simple device with a mirror inside. The patient places their remaining arm in the box and views its reflection in the position of the missing limb. The brain, starved of sensory confirmation, accepts the visual input. The reflection becomes the missing arm. When the patient moves the real arm and watches the reflected movement, the phantom limb moves with it. In many cases, the pain resolves. The brain updated its prediction, and the experience of reality followed. So here is what the tickle reveals. Something that sounds like a trivial party trick. Go ahead, try it again. Is a window into the operating system of consciousness itself. Your brain is not watching the world. It is predicting it. Every moment of your waking experience is a forecast that is only corrected when reality forces it to update. The colors in front of you right now, the temperature of the air, the pressure of the ground beneath your feet, none of it is arriving raw. All of it was expected before it was experienced. All of it is, in a precise neurological sense, your brain's best guess. The system is so seamless, so constant, and so accurate that you have never once noticed it operating. You have spent your entire life inside a prediction and called it the world. The only time it reveals itself is in the small moments where it fails. A limb that isn't there, burning with pain. A thought that feels like it came from somewhere else. A hand that feels like yours even though you're looking at rubber. And a finger trailing lightly across your own ribs that your brain canceled before you could feel it at all.